Have you checked out ChevetteReport.com? It's the newest cigar media outlet to keep you in the know with all things cigar lifestyle related. From press releases to reviews, we have it all covered. Be some of our first members to join ChevetteReport.com and be a part of the next step in the cigar culture. ChevetteReport.com.
It's a rare condition this day and age to read any good news on the newspaper page. And love and tradition of the grand design, some people say, is even harder to find. Well, then there must be some magic clue inside these gentle walls. 'Cause all I see is a tower of dreams, real love bursting out of every seam. It's the bigger love of the family.
Whoops. I was sharing the stream to Facebook. Hey, what's going on, everybody? My parents have messed with my audio over here, so I can't hear myself speaking. Maybe I can. Now I can hear myself. There we go. Welcome in to Chief Talk, where I am getting over the end of a battle with allergies to the max. So my eyes will be watering all night. So and my voice sounds like I'm stuffed up. I'm not crying. Don't worry about it, Rob. I'm not crying. Even though it looks like it and sounds like it. I'm just finally getting over this allergy attack. And this is the good side. 2 days ago, it was nasty. So hopefully tonight we can power through and get through this. I also do have the occasional cough or two. I am powered by Dr. Pepper this evening. So hopefully we can keep the coughs down to a minimal level. But while my eyes are continuing to water like I'm crying, let's give a big welcome shout out to Supremo Tobacco Banker John, Cigar Pop, Fireborn, Charles Adamson, Gary Zamster, Michael Zakovic, Adam Wolf, Jay Bates. Whoa, just right out the gate with all you guys. Sammy Flo, welcome into the show. Bob Ellis, Rob, what's going on? You're still sad you didn't buy any knives. You're right. I'm absolutely sad I did not buy any knives. I tried to convince my wife to let me buy knives, but I did not. But I did buy a cool bag, so I can show you my bag. Oh, goodness gracious. This is a crossbody bag. I love this bag. It's from Paladin 33. These guys were next to us the whole entire time during the CanCon event. It's crossbody. It's camo. There's fun bang bang stuff that goes on in the back here. And then normally I've been carrying like cigars in here, but I have my Lockbee notebook in here tonight because I don't need to bring cigars when I come over to the studio. I take cigars when I come to the studio. I don't bring them. But welcome in, everybody. Happy to have you. Happy that you're all here and hanging out with us. Thank you to Ronald Smith and Sammy Flo for hitting the love button over on Facebook. If you are over on the Facebookies, where are they at? I had little widgets here. Here they are. This is the YouTube one. So if you're on YouTube, do hit the like button. Do hit the subscribe button if you are not subscribed. We got a lot of people getting eyes on the channel for the first time these past couple weeks. All the PCA content going up. Excuse me, sorry about So if you are here for the first time watching Chief Talk, because you're one of the 60 people to subscribe in the last 28 days, welcome. Hopefully you find a fun time to sit here with us on Chief Talk. If you're even newer than that, it's the first time you ever stopped by, do hit the subscribe button, like the stream. And if you are over on Facebook, because we do cross stream, hit the like button, follow the page, and it's the easiest way to share Bob the Cigar Guy to the world. When you share a YouTube page over to Facebook, it doesn't always autoplay the video, or it doesn't auto connect the actual channel itself. It just connects the video that you wanted to share. On Facebook, especially while we're live, when you share it to your favorite cigar groups, it actually plays the video like you see it over on Facebook. So we do love and appreciate everybody who takes the time to do that over on the Facey Books. It gets us out there to them, and that's the best way that you can help us out, is because when we hit 10,000 subscribers, which could be this year because we're just underneath it, that opens up the doors for a lot of opportunities to say a lot of really cool things with companies who want to see that 10K number in front of your name before they do any kind of partnership with you. So, Adam Wolf, thank you so much for hitting the love button over on Facebook as well. I do have a stick pick of the week for this week, so stick around for that. I know you guys were all probably ready to jump on my bones and say, "Hey, you didn't do a stick pick of the week." I do have one. So, without further ado, anybody else new to the comments? Since there we go. What's up, 315 Cigar Aficionados? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're taking your cigars and not Bob's. Bob doesn't have cigars here. I don't have cigars here. We have cigars here. So, by all means, they are Bob's, but they are mine. They are ours. It's very socialist over here. We share. We have a commune of cigars. It's a merce. It's not a merce. It's a crossbody. Thank you very much. And if you call it a merce, crossbody is going to tell you nice, loud bang things. Jay Bates, you're not tall enough to make those jokes. Sit down, sir. All right. So without further ado, every week I've got a co-host in here. So we're going to do this. Welcome into the show, Bob the Cigar Guy.
Hey, let me clarify something just so that I'll know going forward.
Wow, my goodness gracious.
All of the cigars in the shop are community cigars. I don't have cigars. You don't have cigars. And since this is the only place I have cigars, that means that the cigars at your house are communal cigars as well.
Well, lucky for you, I don't have cigars in my house. So
you have a humidor at your house full of cigars.
No, it's empty. It's dead empty.
Are you telling me that thing's dead empty for real?
It's empty. You come over all the time. You smoke my cigars, and I don't have any more. They're all gone.
I don't believe that. That's like if they ask you where your guns are. Well, I just got in a boating accident, and they all fell to the bottom of the sea.
Wouldn't it be darned? The whole boat went down too.
Daggone it.
We did hit 20 viewers there for a very split second, so we continue the train. I'm sure we will probably pop back over there, over 20 again, because we have 16 currently on YouTube and 2 over on Facebook, 17 over on YouTube and 2 on Facebook. So we did hit the 20 number, even though momentary it did say 20. So we continue the streak. So this week, there's 21. So this week is episode 15, Cigar Mythbusters, episode 1. Even though this is technically episode 15, this is Cigar Mythbusters, episode 1. Bob the Cigar Guy, I gave you a cigar before the show started, didn't I?
Yes, and I am smoking the Macanudo Sumatra right now.
Well,
delicious cigar. Fantastic cigar.
Put that cigar down.
Cigar. What?
Put that cigar down.
What?
I had you pull out 4 cigars for a very good reason. So what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and cut and light into the cigar that I provided you. Now, we both have the same cigars. I'm going to go solo here for just a second so everybody can see what cigar we have. If you have been under a rock for the last 10 years, this is the Undercrown Shade. It is a Connecticut Shade wrapped cigar. This hails from the fantastic sponsor, one of the co-sponsors of the show, Drew Estate Cigar. You ever heard of this cigar, Bob Cigar?
A couple times.
What do you get off of this cigar when you smoke this cigar?
Happiness. I get happiness.
What about flavor notes, maybe?
It's got a toasty, creamy. I don't smoke this cigar much. To be honest, I haven't smoked this cigar in a long time.
Okay.
So toasty, creamy, a little bit of woodiness, slight grassiness, if I'm not mistaken. So those will be the things I'm doing. And by the way, I cut it with my nice. I got it from PCA, little knife cutter with the gorgeous handle on this thing. I love this thing. It now sits at my desk, and I'm learning how to use it because there is some operator error. If you are not careful, you'll rip a cap. So First Lady has not gotten a hold of this yet because I'm scared she'll take her finger off and she'll mess up my cigar.
Jay Bates said it's a satchel, and Indiana Jones had one.
That's right.
Jay Bates also said that Jackson and Shep, aka Shep, took them from Bob the Cigar Guy.
Little Bobby. Now, you want me to light this thing too, or just?
Yeah, go ahead. Get into the cigar.
Okay.
Fireborn says Chief is like a cat. You can see 1 square inch of shelf space in the humidor. It's empty. I mean, technically, it's right. I have an empty humidor. You know, Bob the Cigar Guy smokes. Every time he comes to my house, he's always rummaging through my cigars, smoking my stuff. He never brings his own stuff over.
Did you smoke anything when I was over at your house on Mother's Day?
No, I didn't have anything to smoke. You smoked it all the last time.
I'm not buying it. He's probably just got all the good, L40s.
The 315 Cigar Aficionado says
and all the
that
Fuentes.
it is a very good cigar. It is a very good cigar. I enjoy this cigar a lot. I don't smoke this cigar very often, but when I do, I don't smoke a lot of Connecticut's. Let me preface that. I don't smoke a lot of Connecticut cigars. When I smoke a Connecticut cigar, I want to make sure that I'm smoking a good Connecticut cigar, and the Underground Shade is a good Connecticut cigar. It's also one of the better budget cigars out there these days. I actually had somebody come in the humidor. What's today? Thursday? Yesterday, and because I work on Wednesdays behind the bar in the humidor, and the guy came in and he was looking to try a handful of new cigars to him, and he's like, "Oh, what do you got that's in the budget line?" And I was like, "Well, the budget line isn't the budget line of yesteryear. Now there are plenty of cigars out there that you can get at $3, $4, $5 marks, right? Here on the desk, we don't carry these in the shop, but this is the factory smoke. Sweet, or is this Maduro?
Sweet.
Maduro and sweet both are red. That cigar you can get for like $2.75 or $3.50 or something like that, depending on the size. And so, there are other cigars out there that are in the $4 range. I think the most price effective, like full size cigar that we have in the shop is the Alec Bradley Chunk Maduro XL, which is $5.50. And it's a great cigar. Put your face back together. It's a great cigar. It's a fantastic Maduro, by the way. And so when you want to get into the full size cigars, you're into something that's really good these days. You're looking at the $7.75, $8.50, $9 range for your good budget cigars. And the Underground Shade fits that mark. I think it's the one thing I really like about this cigar is it's got it has a black pepper note to it, but it's not like a super black pepper note. But tonight, didn't do too much talking. my cigar went out. So tonight's show is called Cigar Mythbusters Episode 1. I don't know if we're going to do a bunch of these in a row until I start lining up guests to come on, or how we're going to do this. But there are tons of cigar myths out there, right? And some of them are true myths, like, ones that actually make sense. Some of them are a little crazy. And so I think, I'd love to go through and do a little myth busting here. Now, we're not the first people to ever do myth busting with cigars on the internet. I feel like we've done that slightly before here on the show. Maybe not called Cigar Mythbusters, but but we've also done things on the show where it's like, well, we've heard this about this, and it's actually kind of a little different. But Bob, off the top of your head, what are some of the big cigar myths or things that you hear that make you go, huh, never thought about that, or huh, that's interesting, maybe that's not true?
Strength and flavor aren't the same. Our strength and full flavor or full body is not the same. Not all light cigars are mild, and not all dark cigars are strong.
Okay, that's one myth, kind of like maybe two myths rolled into one. Anything else that you can really think of?
Just because it's expensive doesn't mean it's good.
Aha, now that's a good one. Now I don't know if we're going to test that one. I don't think you're going to give me the budget for that one. So one of the things that I've heard, what's going on, Michael Carter? How you doing this evening? One of the things that I've heard, and it seems to be a little slightly polarizing in the Drew Estate offices, is wrapper tobacco.
Oh.
And how, there are some people who will say that 100% of the cigar flavor is wrapped into the wrapper tobacco, or 0% of the cigar flavor is wrapped up in the wrapper leaf. The wrapper leaf is generally one leaf, right?
Right.
Yeah, you have I say generally because more times than not, a cigar wrapper leaf is one leaf. Now, there are many out there that are not. You have the Alec Bradley Black Market Filthy Hooligan, right? That's 2 wrappers. And then one of them has 3 wrappers. The Filthy Gooligan is 2 wrappers. The Arturo Fuente 90 Años Dos Capas has 2 complete wrappers. It's 1 wrap, and then they wrap again over top of the other wrapper. You have, the Hoya Cabinetta, the Pappy Van Winkle Family Reserve. You have the new the new Silver Mesa coming out that have Tapa Negras on them. That's 2 wrapper. It's a wrapper leaf on top of another wrapper leaf at the top of the cigar.
The craft from Roma.
The craft series. Sometimes, Tiger Saurus, like
Killer Bee.
You have a lot of, a lot of the Black Label stuff has multiple either full wrappers or components of wrappers throughout the cigar. And you'd have to think, okay, if the wrapper, is the wrapper all of your flavor? If so, then why do you have the rest of all this tobacco in the cigar? Or is the wrapper just there for decoration? Because look at all these other cigars, like the Fuente football, right? Or what is it? Is it Fuente or no? It's LFD. It's the football. They do the pigskin stripes and stuff on the egg-shaped cigar, whatnot. So tonight, what I want to do is I want to smoke a little bit of this Undercrown Shade, the both of us smoking it, get a good little flavor profile on it, and then how many cigars did I hand you by the cigar, right? Or did you hand me?
You handed me. I handed you
out of the box. How many? How many? 4 cigars. That's right.
4.
I said 4.
I said it 3 times.
Okay, but you weren't answering my question as I was answering. You were stuck a question behind me, so that's why I had to ask it twice.
4.
So, because there were 4 cigars handed to me, and we are currently smoking 2 of them because I'm smoking one, Bob the Cigar Guy is smoking the other, I took the liberty of getting 2 more of them, and I took the wrapper leaves off of them. Now that I've taken these are the heads. You can tell because they're cut. After a while, we're going to switch from our Undercrown Shades that have the wrappers on them, and we're going to move to the Undercrown Shades where I have removed the wrappers off of them and see if there's a drastic flavor difference, if there's no flavor difference, if there's a little flavor difference, to kind of settle whether or not we think there's the myth of, because I've heard for so many years, the first time I heard any number other than 90% of the flavor was last year when Jose Blanco said wrapper leaves make up about 70 to 80% of the flavor of cigar on most cigars. Sometimes it only makes about 40% of the flavor of a cigar. So what better way to find out than to have a plethora of the same cigar and smoke one with a wrapper on it and smoke one without the wrapper on it? What do you think about that, Bob, the cigar guy? Do you think that's
pretty scientific?
Do you think that's you always hate when I do these challenges because
I'd like to know ahead of time instead of just being surprised like everybody else. It'd be kind of nice to get a heads up on it. But I've pulled stuff on you at the last minute too, so I can't cast.
They're usually purchases.
One of the things that that as you're talking about it, and I'm like, okay, so that's what he's doing. I don't know if a shade wrapper, because it's a shade wrapper, it's a lighter flavor. I don't know if it's going to give you as much of an expression as if we would have done something that was heavy and dark like a broadleaf and pulled the broadleaf off and then smoked it that way. I don't know if there would be a marketable difference.
You know, that's one of the reasons why I had chosen to do the Undercrown 10 at first. But then when I saw the Undercrown shades, I thought, you know what? Shade grown wrapper tobacco is a distinct flavor characteristic in the cigar. And why couldn't it, even as a lighter wrapper with lighter flavors, why could it also not affect the cigar the same way that a Mexican San Andreas or a Cameroon or a broadleaf or, something that's also thick, a Braganca, right? Why could it not also affect the cigar in such a way where you would be able to genuinely taste a difference in the smoking of the cigar? Now, I have learned over the years that, I've been told, so let's say it this way. I've been told over the years that the filler of a cigar is really there for a little bit of flavor, but a lot of your combustion, a lot of your burnability, you can't just make a Connecticut broadleaf puro. One, it'd probably make you throw up because it's just so strong. Two, it doesn't burn the way that all tobaccos burn. And so Connecticut broadleaf, if I remember correctly, Connecticut broadleaf needs other tobaccos in order to stay lit longer.
Because it's so thick.
Because it's got so much oil in it, it's got so much fat in the leaves. It needs one time listening to Jonathan Drew, and you're like, you'll never leave that alone.
I love it.
But I've heard that's one of the reasons why there's so many fillers in the cigar. But then I think, well, cigars have transitions, right? There's definitely flavor transitions in a cigar. I've tasted, I've gone, the most recent cigar that I have experienced transitions in a bad way is the new My Father La Lealtad. And it's a cigar, and I've only had the Robusto version of it, so I can't say it for all of the sizes. But the Lealtad, the new My Father Red, it starts off super nutty, a little creamy, really nice cigar, and then halfway through, the cigar just peters out for me. Kind of gets a little burnt, a little chalky, kind of like the smell of an extinguished ashtray after a little while. Was not a fan of the second half of the cigar. No, I've not since smoked another one yet, so I can't say that's the whole entire line. I need to smoke another one just so that I have a really good comprehensive review of my opinion of the cigar. But I also know that, like, Bob, you smoked one, right?
I didn't care for it, and and you told me ahead of time, and I found that transition was underwhelming for sure.
But then I've also had another cigar here recently that had transitions not in flavor but in strength. And this is a cigar that I had zero excitement for at all. And I was given one to smoke last week, Saturday. and really, really enjoyed it. It's the new Plasencia Triunfal. It is the Plasencia World Cup cigar. Um, that cigar is incredible. I was not expecting, the last cigar I had from Plasencia that was new was the Year of the Horse. Totally underwhelmed on the cigar. $55 price point, huge, like 60 by 7 cigar with that big old tail coming off the cap of it. Was not impressed with the cigar at all. I thought for that much money, that cigar should only. I would have a problem paying over $15 for that cigar, with as much as I didn't care for the cigar. The Plasencia Mediciello last year was a really good cigar. I really liked it. Kind of surprised me. This Triunfal, whoa! It reminds me of, or actually, I don't think I've ever had a cigar that's as cashewy as that cigar is. I've never had a cigar that's that nutty. And then when you get to the halfway point, all of a sudden, like the vitamin N starts to kick in and the strength amps up. The flavors don't really change for me, but the strength, man, it goes from 25 to 100. I mean, the first half of the cigar, I would suggest to a brand new cigar smoker. The second half of the cigar, I would push any brand new cigar smoker away from, just because of how it amps up. And so you start thinking about the filler, right? Well, the filler's not changing the flavor, but it's definitely changing the nicotine content or the strength of the cigar. So then you start worrying about, the other part of the cigar, the binder. Well, what does the binder have to do? Does the binder aid in combustion, or is it just a leaf that has to be bold enough and strong enough to hold all the tobaccos in the middle to keep the bunch going and lit, right? Because you have cigars that tunnel, right? Why do cigars tunnel? Is it because the filler is burning too fast for the binder to be able to keep up, so the binder's not keeping lit and then the wrapper's not lighting? Or is it just an air pocket and there just happened to be a little faster channel through there? Is it a stem that caught on fire and went faster? Another cigar myth that we could bust into is like, I don't know if there'd be a really way for us to be able to test it. Maybe if we were like on a rolling floor and we could like affect the rolling of cigars, it would be, do stems really stop your cigar from smoking right? Because I've seen a lot of people talk about stems are left in cigars for a reason. They aid in combustion. They aid, those stems catch fire and they stay on fire longer and they help burn the rest of the cigar. They're also flavor. The leaf part is the same flavor as the stem part. So you're getting a stronger hit of that flavor through the stem. Obviously, you don't have stems on wrapper leaves because that would make a nightmare to be able to have a cigar that is nice and round and, beautiful to look at. But I've heard stems are actually good for the cigar. Don't pull them out of the end of your cigar. You're ruining your cigar. But some would argue that stems are ruining the cigar. You can't draw through the cigar. You're not getting the burn right, whatever. So the first and easiest cigar myth to test, I think, is how much does wrapper affect the flavor of the cigar?
Well, it was interesting. Some of the things you're saying as I'm sitting here listening to you is, if there was no flavor imparted in the bunch, in the filler, then all manufacturers would figure out what's the best combustion combination. If it didn't impart flavor, then they would just use the same. Everybody would use the same exact leaves and the same exact roll, because the only thing different is the wrapper, right? So there's got to be some flavor imparting to that. As far as stems go, stems also add into the scaffolding of the cigar. You have to have, when they make the cigar, usually they have the thicker part of the leaf in the bunch to the front, so that the thickness of the veins of the cigar is actually holding up your ash, and it gives you a better construction that way. So, and when we're talking about stems, we're actually not talking about the median rib, which is that big thick piece that would take up half of your cigar. They don't use that. They'll frog cut, or they'll frog strip it, or they'll strip it completely. But the the thicker veins, those are what people are usually classifying as stems, because stems would be as thick as almost a pencil.
Right.
So, but they're always called stems. So,
You
just
know,
for clarification.
I've never, I have to, especially as somebody who works in a humidor now, right? There's a lot of questions that I get asked all the time. One is, how long have you been growing your beard? Two, is your name really Chief? And three, well, why are some cigar leaves darker and why are some cigar leaves darker or lighter? Um, and I find myself like going off of the knowledge that I've learned in the last 10 years of being a part of the Bob the Cigar YouTube channel, doing Chief Talk for 8 years now. I actually think, by the way, like I think it was May 16th was the very first ever Chief Talk. So we will technically hit 8 years, I think, this week.
Wow.
Of Chief
Congratulations.
Talk. Thank you.
Good job, Chief.
Another myth is that long ash means it's a premium cigar. Ooh. I actually did have somebody talk to me about ash the other day. I think the next myth I want to hit is, do V-cut, punch, and guillotine truly affect the flavor and smokability of your cigar?
Smokability, yes. Flavor, I don't think so.
Well, that's going to be something that we dive into the next time we do a Cigar Mythbusters episode, because I've been getting that question a lot too. Well, Chief, why do you only guillotine your cigars? Or why do you only V-cut your cigars? Or why do you only punch your cigars? Now, I think there are moments where I don't think there's ever a moment where a V-cut is the true answer. I think there are moments when a punch is the true answer, for sure. But I'm not sure if there's ever a moment where a V-cut or a guillotine is the true way to go. Now, I do guillotine because I happen to much more prefer the open profile of the cigar. But Bob the Cigar Guy V-cuts all his cigars. And so, there's what is it? Is that a guillotine?
That's guillotine.
No.
I vacillate between the two. I do not punch. I don't like punch. We'll save it for the episode, but I have issues with the different cuts and their pluses and minuses, and I don't find many pluses in punches except for it's very easy to do. The punch is very cheap and they're easy to put in your pocket. Other than that, I don't see any real value in a punch.
Right. Usually the biggest value I see in a punch is a 6x60 box press cigar. It's really hard to get a V cutter or a guillotine cutter that's not an oversized cutter to cut the cap of that cigar off. And so that's where a punch comes in handy. And I'll usually punch it
3 times
dead center or do a little 3-dot punch.
Yeah.
But I'm only doing the 3-dot punch if it's my cigar, because I don't like working in a humidor. I ask people all the time, not everybody. I ask people occasionally, which I'm going to cut your cigar for you. And when they say punch it, I'm always like, oh man, not again. Because I hate handling people's cigars, because I wouldn't want somebody to handle my cigar, right? I don't want to go to a shop and somebody grab my cigar. I don't know where their hands have been. I don't know what they've done with their hands most recently. I don't really want somebody putting their fingers. I wouldn't want somebody at the restaurant handing me my glass, holding it at the top of the glass. Just like I don't want to hand somebody their cigar holding it by the head of the cigar, right? I don't want to put my mouth where somebody's hands were. Pause. I don't want to hand somebody a cigar that I've put my hands all over. When somebody asks me to punch, it's like, oh, come on, man. Because, sometimes you push the punch in, right? You twist it and you twist it and you twist it, and you've got the dang thing cut. And you pull the punch off and the tobacco's still sitting on top of the cigar. And it's like, oh, now I got to pick this stupid thing off my fingers. And it's like, hey, man, it punched, but it didn't come off the tobacco. I don't want to pull your tobacco off. Here, take the cigar. I hand it back to him and say, just pick it off. Just pick it off. I don't want to pick it off for you. That's more of an etiquette thing. All right. So, Bob the Cigar, we're 30 minutes into smoking this cigar. Do you feel that you've gotten a consistent profile off of this cigar?
I do.
I feel like I've gotten enough of one for my current olfactory system. I can't breathe very well out my nose, so I'm not doing any retrohaling. I can breathe out of my nose, but I don't want to shut myself back down. But I do feel like I'm getting a consistent flavor profile off cigar.
What are you tasting?
Well, I was going to ask you the same thing, but I'll go ahead and say I am getting a little bit of that graham cracker sweetness off of the tobacco. So graham cracker sweetness. Everybody knows graham crackers, right? We've all done s'mores at some point in time. We've all had ginger snaps. So it's not like sugar cookie sweet, where it's like sugar coating everything. It's like a mild back of the tongue kind of sort of sweetness, but it's a little toasty. There's that. I like to think of when I'm doing my leaf clearing in the fall and I burn my piles of leaves. When the pile of leaves are burnt down to the end, you get that like acrid kind of note that kind of lingers around, that you can tell leaves have been burnt. And like you can tell when grass has been cut or it's about to rain or something like that. You can tell what that smell is based off of that. So when I smoke this, some of the note that I'm pulling off from the room note of the cigar is a lot of that light, crunchy leaf ash burn kind of note.
Don't you sound like a cigar reviewer?
I just retrohaled there and I shouldn't have. But yeah, I mean, it's very light. It's full palate. It coats everything really well. But it's a light smoke. It's graham cracker sweet. And I feel like that's pretty indicative of how I've always felt about this cigar. I'm not getting a lot of pepper off of this. I usually get a little bit of pepper off of it. That's one of the reasons why I don't smoke this as much as other Connecticut's, because with the Connecticut shade, I feel like I get a little bit of pepper off of it. Now, I might not be getting the pepper off of it like I normally do because I'm not retrohaling and I can't smell right now very well. So I could be just missing out on that because of the way my sinuses are jacked up right now. But what about you, Bob the Cigar, without a sinus infection right now?
Well, I got the toasty creamy, and I'm not picking up graham cracker. I guess after you said graham cracker, I started thinking about it. I said, I guess I could lean that way. But the thought that I had was almost like a light butterscotch. And I think that's that graham crackery sweetness that you're picking up. But I am picking up notes of black pepper enough to where you actually really notice that there's a little aggression going on. Not a lot. It's in balance, but the creaminess really overrides everything, with just everything else is just subtle rolling around with it. I don't taste any grass leaves burning though.
So as we put these cigars down and jump into, here's your unwrapped, the top is the cap. So thank you, Adam Wolf, for the congratulations of 8 years. It's a lot of fun. We're I guess technically we are finishing 7 years and now truly starting year 8. I guess that's
pretty binder, by the way.
It is. It's actually,
there's no flaws in that binder.
I was really worried about, I'm curious to see how this is going to smoke, like draw wise, without a wrapper on it.
I bet it's going to swell.
But it is a very well pressed cigar.
Absolutely.
Because they roll the cigar, they bunch the tobacco, then they roll it in the binder, then they press it. They let it sit in presses for however long they press it for, and then they put a wrapper leaf around it, and then they let it sit in a dry room. That's not the button I was looking for. Interesting. I have like a red stripe on the binder of the cigar.
Means you won something.
Hey, look at this. Let me see if I can show the the camera here. Get in front of my face. See
That's it.
the red stripe on there? That's interesting. Huh. I'd say I've never noticed that before, but I've never taken the wrapper off of my cigar to smoke the cigar either. Bottlenecking would change the flavor. I think that's in regards to V-cut. Charles Adamson punches sweet caps to save it. J Bates says, woo woo, 8 years. Congratulations, gentlemen. Thank you, J Bates. Box press. Please go to why box press is ever used. I simply find that box press cigars don't burn well. What? I love a box press cigar. It's my favorite way to have a cigar. Adam Wolf says, the cut is always a personal choice on 98% of cigars, unless you're taking chisels or flathead, which you can still use any cutter, but there are ones that won't work as well. J Bates says, I used to V-cut a lot, found myself wanting and needing to spit with that cut. I usually just straight cut now. Chief does not like people M-wording a cigar unless you've already paid for it. Now, that's true. Naked cigars, avert your gaze. Avert your what? P.H. Miller says, how can you nub it if you never took off the label? I mean, you can.
He took the wrapper off. He didn't take the label off.
The label's off. I mean, the label's not on there anymore. But you would be surprised at how hot we can get these fingertips. We also have tools in here, but I don't think I'll be nubbing either one of these cigars. Honestly, I probably will not. I mean, it's a waste. I know, yes, it is a waste of cigars. But we're doing science here, so nothing's ever a waste in science. That's not true. I'm just trying to make myself feel better about wasting half of an underground shade. But by the end of this, I will have wasted one full underground shade. But I will have smoked one full underground shade. Off the bat, can immediately tell a difference in draw. It is much more open.
And it lets the air out the side of your cheeks or outside of your mouth. You notice that? It's not like you can't get as good a seal that you do with the cigar with the wrapper on it. At least I'm noticing that. I'm catching cold air coming in from the side of my cheeks.
Right. So you're doing a terrible job of explaining that. What he's saying is he can literally feel that instead of the air coming through the bottom of the cigar, it's literally coming through, because it's kind of like the Death Star. From a distance, the Death Star looks really round, but when you get up on the Death Star really close, you realize that you can fly an X-wing through there and deliver a photon cannon shot to the heart of the Death Star through the ventilation shaft and blow it all up. So it's the same sort of thing with this cigar, where there are all these little channels that are running back towards the tip of the leaf, which are catching air, where Bob is saying it's right from his cheeks. You can literally feel the air is coming through other parts of the cigar instead of just the bottom of the cigar, which is a interesting phenomenon. J Bates is saying nerd, like he wasn't over there like, yeah, go Chief, go. Yeah, I mean, there is a difference though.
By far.
Now this cigar seems toasty, but not creamy.
Fair. I'm missing the creaminess, but I thought I would lose all the toastiness. I thought I would lose all that smooth and oh my gosh, I'm gonna say something bad. And I'm only a half an inch in, 3/4 inch in, but I'm kind of digging this cigar more than I'm digging this cigar. To be honest, I'm not gonna say that every time I smoke this cigar, I'm gonna take the wrapper off of it, but too bad you didn't bring your pipe. You could put the wrapper in your pipe and smoke it just the wrapper. I knew he had his pipe.
Who says I don't have my pipe?
I knew he had his pipe. That was
actually not a bad idea.
That was an easy segue.
It's actually not a bad idea.
I know.
I didn't even think about that.
You're welcome.
So this is the wrapper leaves. My pipe may go up in flames very fast.
Now, what'd be fun is if you put the naked cigar in your mouth and the pipe in your mouth at the same time
Try
and
to
see
make
if it tastes the same.
by golly, eureka.
And then everybody will screenshot that, and then you'll be a meme across the world. When you just want a little bit more than a pipe and a little bit more than a cigar, have both a pipe gar, a C pipe.
Have you ever taken the wrapper off of your cigar and wondered, I wonder what this cigar would taste like with the wrapper on it? Then have we got something for you? Buy the cigar, take the wrapper off, put it in a pipe, then put your pipe in your mouth with the unwrapped cigar and see if it tastes like a wrapped cigar.
That's funny. Well, while Chief is doing that, I want to show you our newest get. We are trying to upgrade, and although Chief has all the great technology and all the great ability, I don't have much of either. And so we are slowly building up the Bob the Cigar Guy end of the channel to make it better. At least content will never be better, but the look of it will be. And so we have purchased the DJI Pocket 3. And this is going to be, I'm going to work with it. This is going to be the new camera that instead of me using the webcam, I'm going to be using this. And this is supposed to be much, much better and much, much more closer to what Chief has. Now, it's nothing like his, what is that called?
A7 IV?
A no mirrored, whatever.
A mirrorless?
Look at
full
that right
frame.
there. Oh, look at that. You can see, look, Steve, you see it? It's like that movie, Insurrection.
Insurrection, yeah. Insurrection, is that the one where they all crawled out through the sewer pipes? No, it's called Inception. You
Oh,
dingus.
okay. Well, look, you can see it over and over and over again. That's fun. That's
Insurrection,
fun.
that was the movie about January 6th.
That's fun right there. I like that.
It's about the greatest content you've put out in a while right there. A little Inception there.
Really? You say that, but I put out some amazing content. These shorts are taking off. Look at that. That thing, it'll do all sorts of stuff. It'll move up and down. It'll follow me. Look at that right there. It's like something from Star Wars. Right there. See, it stays flat. It's not gonna make me look any better, but I'll be in better focus. And it's got all sorts of things. So when you put your hand next to it, and then you put your hand away and you lose focus, this supposedly doesn't do that anymore. So I'm gonna cut this off until I know how to use it. But this is, it shuts down. Then you put your little cover on because this thing's expensive. It's not cheap expensive, but it is expensive for Bob the Cigar Guy. You know, the guy who has to drive to all events because we can only afford one first class ticket for Chief.
Yeah.
You know.
All these jokes about Chief buying lenses and Chief buying this and whatnot, and you're actually the one who's doing it.
Look, my camera does that thing right there doesn't cost one of your lenses, so I don't even want to hear it. That'll be kind of interesting to see how that works.
There's my that's super nutty. But I don't like it.
That's funny.
I don't like it as just a wrapper leaf.
Now you know why it's a blend.
I do not like it as just wrapper leaf. Oh, that tastes weird. It makes
That's a puro tobacco.
I mean, no, it's a fuma. Nope, don't like that at all. So I don't need to continue puffing on that.
And now the next time you smoke your pipe, you're going to have the ghosting of that tobacco in your tobacco.
So what you're saying is the channel needs to buy me a replacement Savinelli.
No, we're going to get you one of those Missouri Meerschaum corncob pipes.
We have them at the shop.
They're not bad pipes, actually, and they don't taste like corn. They don't transfer any flavor.
They're actually pretty dope. I've never used one, but
Thank you. Interview with Nick at Foundation is the best content ever. Did you ever watch that video?
I've not watched. I started watching it and cringed so much I couldn't continue.
The audio was better than last year.
That's true. Wasn't hard to beat that. That was god awful.
I got to take my wins where I can.
Yeah. Yeah. Not a fan of just a wrapper. Actually, the first couple puffs were nice, and then it was like, oh god, I don't like that at all.
Did you get grassy notes? Hey,
No, it's really strong. It's very strong, actually. I think that's why I don't like it, is because of the strength of it. It was very strong, which is wild because that was a Connecticut shade wrapper.
right. That is wild.
It was also 2 cigars worth of it. So
No, it wasn't. It was 2 wrappers worth.
2 cigars worth of wrapper leaves. Yes, it was. That is
of
correct.
wrapper leaves, but it's not 2 cigars worth.
It's 2 cigars worth of wrapper.
Yeah, but it's not. You said 2 cigars worth.
Peach Miller says, got it. I'm a bit behind. As for cut, if sitting by the ocean in the evening, a V cut is required, as there isn't enough light to trust the straight cut. Otherwise, it's scissors and a straight cut. Is that like the air mixer on a hookah pipe? I don't know. Maybe. Speaking of Star Wars, has anyone watched the new Darth Maul series? When you get an SV cutter or a perfect cutter, you won't overcut the cigar, whether you are by the ocean or not. I use a Calibri V cut if the light is low. I know it'll be a good cut even if I can't see it well.
I like the SV. It's my go-to.
Master blenders will start smoking individual cigar tobacco and pipes after this. Chief, better patent this process.
That's fine.
The SV cut is nice. That's the cutter I use when I'm at the lounge for people up at the desk. Because most of the time I'll say, hey, when I ask, hey, would you want me to just cut the cigar for you? And they say, what would you prefer? Or they say, yeah, please. And I say, well, what would you like? Would you like a V cut or a guillotine? And people usually say, oh, it's just whatever, whatever you choose because you're the master cigar man. I say, great, guillotine, 100%. And some people are like, V cut only, please. And then I get the rare, will you punch it for me?
And this cutter, this SV cutter, this one we're talking about, I've had this for 7-8 years, probably. Thousands and thousands and thousands of cigars have been cut. Hundreds of hands have used it, and it's still sharp as a tack. It still cuts every day. This sits right at my desk. This is one I grab when I just need to make sure I'm cutting a cigar and I'm not paying 100% attention because I know it just feels good in your hand. It's nice and heavy, and it just performs. It works.
It does. This cigar's still burning okay. It's not razor burn by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm not sure if this would if the wrapper would help. I mean, obviously the wrapper is going to help in some sort of way because it's combustible as all the other tobacco is. Yeah, it's definitely. It's not you lose all of the cream off of the cigar with the wrapper off of it.
But what's funny is you didn't taste it when it was by itself.
I did.
You tasted creamy in the pipe?
Oh, so more nutty in the pipe. I also didn't really enjoy what I was smoking because of how strong it was. So I don't know. Maybe I should have just lightly packed it and just I tried to pack it like a regular pipe, pack it, a little tighter and then, get a firm foundation for it. Maybe I should have just lit it and tried to puff off of the remnants instead of trying to pack it all on each other because you're not going to get that much wrapper tobacco at one time in a cigar anyways. Hey, it's all science, right?
Right.
Excuse me. Chebe says, it's Bob the Cigar, it's time to shine. You can fly in the cargo hold this year, Chief. Yay.
No, Chief needs to have his comfort. He's a superstar.
Adam loves his SV cutter, gifted me by Bob the Cigar Guy when I visited him. Thanks again, Bob the Cigar Guy and Chief. Wait, maybe I'm just sleep deprived or confused, but didn't you remove the wrapper? Yes. The wrapper.
But he put the wrapper in his pipe.
I put the wrapper in the pipe because I took the wrapper off and I put it in an ashtray. Ta-da! There he is. Jay Bates is here. Put down the jingling. Put down the jingling. Okay. So you like this cigar, Bob, this cigar guy, more without the wrapper on it than you do with?
As I'm smoking into it, though, the pepper's really coming forward. The first couple of puffs, it tasted different. So I got to smoke it back a little bit to see. but it is two totally different cigars.
Yeah,
Experiences.
It is different cigars.
Now, what percentage would you place
So that's what I was trying to
that
think.
wrapper on?
That's what I was trying to think of is because this is such a different cigar without the wrapper leaf on it. I think it's got to be well over 50%. Because if it was just barely a difference, I could say, oh, it's about 50% or less. But because it is such a stark contrast in flavor, I'm going to say it's got to be at least 60%. I'd even go far as say it's at least 65% different.
I don't know. I think the flavors that we lost, it's 100%. But there's a lot of flavors in the blend that are still there. And it makes sense because it's a blend, right?
Right.
But I don't know if taking out the flavor notes that aren't there anymore that were in the wrapper, would it be 60% of the flavor profile? So I guess it would depend on how you quantify it. Does it taste the same? No. Does it taste totally different? Yes. So that's 100% difference. But the amount of flavor that's imparted by the wrapper, I would be in the 40 to 50% range. But 40%, 60% is not that big of a difference when you're really talking about it. And you can't breathe through your nose.
Well, that's true too. But I'm sitting here thinking about if somebody came into the shop and asked me, hey, I want a cigar that is mild, little, got a full flavor profile, but it's mild on the body. But I also want something that is creamy. This is without the wrapper on it. This is not a cigar I would suggest because there's no cream to this cigar anymore.
I agree.
There's no graham cracker sweetness to this cigar anymore.
I agree.
This cigar fits into the
medium.
It's a medium body, which the Connecticut originally was a medium, mild plus medium, and it's not amped up in strength anymore. It just doesn't have that cool cream to cut through. I hate to say the word bitter, but I can't find another word at the moment to describe. So this cigar, I don't know, this reminds me of, it's almost like a Habano wrapper, like a little gritty, little earthy, not super flavor complex.
It reminds me of the lightest Roma Craft that came out. We got it last year. What was that called? It started with an A, I think.
A? The Intemperance?
No, it wasn't the Intemperance. It was
last year was the.
It was the one in the case. Maybe it was the year before.
The Aquitaine?
No,
it's not the Aquitaine.
No,
no. If I was going to go, no, that's the Wonderlust. That's got Cuban tobacco in it. From Roma, if I was going to go anything Roma Craft on this, I would go just the regular Intemperance. I wouldn't go Intemperance Whiskey Rebellion, just a regular Intemperance Connecticut. Yeah, I think this cigar needs a Connecticut wrapper leaf on it. I think that's the missing component of this cigar is it needs that cream, it needs that sugar, it's like a cortado. It's got, actually, no, it's not a cortado. It's like an Americano, but it's not like a heavy Americano. Americano is just, shot of espresso with a bunch of water on top of it to balance it out to make it a black coffee. So it's not heavy in the sense of an Americano, but it's like, yeah, it's a cigar. It's the Connecticut shade undercrown, but it doesn't taste like the Connecticut. It needs that little splash of cream. It needs that little bit of sugar to go on top of it to sweeten it up a little bit to really balance this thing because it's a little edgy. That's what I'm looking for. It's edgy. It's got an edge to it.
I wonder what this Cigar without the wrapper would be if you put it with a broadleaf wrapper or a Maduro wrapper or a Connecticut broadleaf wrapper, Mexican San Andreas wrapper. I wonder if the blend would hold up. I could see this with the Mexican San Andreas. To be honest, I could see it with the broadleaf as well.
I don't know if I'd like it with the broadleaf.
It'd be a full. It'd be a full plus.
It would be. I mean, you think about broadleaf, right? You've got rich, deep body. I think this would almost be. I think this would be too gritty with a broadleaf on it. I don't think the tobacco's inside of here, because again, right, Connecticut Shade is a light, delicate, thin wrap cigar or thin wrapper leaf. It needs a little oomph to go inside of it to not just be what I smoked in my pipe, which was super nutty. Now, again, I had it super condensed down, super concentrated, so I didn't like it in the pipe. But I think, I think this would do well with like a Colorado Claro on it.
I can see that.
Pull the sweetness out of the Colorado Claro. You still got that dark undertone, deep, rich, flavors that come off of the, I think that would do well with this. I think obviously Connecticut Shade wrapper goes fantastic on this because that Connecticut Shade, I'm missing a lot of that graham cracker sweetness. I'm missing a lot of the creaminess. I am getting more black pepper out of this though. I couldn't taste the black pepper earlier, but I can taste a lot of black pepper now because I feel like that's about the only note I'm getting out of this thing anymore. It's black pepper and char. I don't have the leafy room note that I was talking about earlier. So I'm willing to say that a ton of the flavor that you're getting out of cigars is that final wrapper leaf, even though it's just one leaf on the cigar and it's the thinnest component out of all the components that are on the cigar. I think there's a drastic difference between the cigar having the wrapper leaf on it and not even in smokability, because the cigar's smoking fine. I mean, yeah, I'm experiencing what you were experiencing earlier, where the draw is not exactly perfect, right? You can tell that there's more air coming through the cigar than if there wasn't, with the wrapper leaf on there, where the air is being choked down through the middle of the cigar. But it's not creating any burn issues for me, which is fun. It's also kind of funny. There's always those people on the Drew Estate Facebook group that are like, look, my cap unraveled and I can't believe the cigar's not smoking like it's supposed to smoke. Well, I don't have a cap or wrapper leaf and the cigar's smoking just fine. I mean, other than the flavor being affected, it's still working out just fine for me. Interesting experiment. I think I can positively conclude that the wrapper does make up a significant portion of the flavor of a cigar blend, though.
At least in this one, for sure.
I don't know if there's a way to. I don't think there's a way to quantify what percentage it really truly is, but I'm willing to stake that it's over 50% because of how different this cigar is than this cigar.
Now, have you went back to your first cigar at all?
No. I didn't want to mess with my palate at all. But I do recognize that this is drastically different than what I was smoking for the first 30 minutes of the show. I don't not enjoy it though. It's not a cigar that I would recommend to somebody if they were like, hey, I want something that's toasty creamy, because right now it doesn't taste toasty creamy. But this does taste middle of the road, not going to smoke you under a bus, yard gar. I would not suggest this as a yard gar because it has no wrapper leaf on it and it would destroy if you kept moving around with it.
By the way, I don't think we mentioned today that Chief Talk, the 8th year, is presented to you by Drew Estate and Natura Cigars. That's right.
I did earlier mention Drew Estate, but I did not mention Natura. But that is correct for the second year running. Natura.
Natura just finished They just finalized with us, and they are going to stay on board for another year, and they want to do more. They want to sponsor a giveaway on Chief Talk. They want to provide some more cigars for us to be able to have and to share with you on the show. They really are wanting to go deep into the Chief Talk lifestyle family group, whatever you want to call it. So, good job, Chief.
Great job, everybody. But no, it is an interesting observation that I have yet to ever have done before today. Now, speaking of Drew Estate, I'm going to come over here. I did not have time to put this up on ChevetteReport.com yet today because I've been in phone calls with the entire country of India regarding our rental car debacle that happened in New Orleans. But today, Drew Estate announced the new SVP of Marketing and Chief Innovation Officer role. Drew Estate is proud to announce both the promotion of founder and president Jonathan Drew Sand to Chief Innovation Officer of Drew Estate, as well as the hiring of Andrew Duncan, who will succeed Jonathan in the lead marketing role and serve as Senior Vice President of Marketing. As Jonathan moves into the CIO role, he will remain the company's president and a key member of the executive team. Jonathan Drew's new position as Chief Innovation Officer will allow him to take on a role crafted specifically to unleash, focus, and leverage the unique entrepreneurial, visionary, and disruptive capabilities that have been fueled by his personal journey over the arc of his career, and most particularly over the last 13 years since he sold Drew Estate to Swisher in 2014. The mission of Drew Estate's newly formed innovation department is to identify new opportunities that strongly align with Drew Estate's four competencies: innovation, disruption, iconic brands, and engagement, thus enabling the company to broaden its business portfolio, with the goal of creating significant levels of virtuous values for years to come. The newly announced Drew Dominicana factory in the Dominican Republic, as well as the newly announced J. Sand & Son retail division, exemplify mission-critical strategic initiatives birthed by the innovation department. Drew Estate CEO Glenn Wolfson, the homie, explains, "We are asking Jonathan to engage in his visionary roots and create multi-dimensional cultural and business adjacencies that will help shape the future of Drew Estate. This is a momentous occasion in Drew Estate's history, and one we'll surely look back at as the beginning of a whole new chapter." Jonathan Drew remarks from Wynwood, Florida, saying, "When I think about my work life today, I'm focused on the long-term legacy of Drew Estate. All the stakeholders in the USA, Nika, in the Dominican Republic, these people who give their heart and soul to make us better. I focus on the consumers and the retailers of our beautiful craft who deserve to be treated well and appreciated. Finally, I'm thinking about my son, JD, too, and teaching him how to make an honest living with a life of purpose, the Drew Estate way." Drew Estate is also proud to announce the hiring of Andrew Duncan as the company's new SVP of Marketing. Andrew will inherit the overall leadership responsibilities of brand management, consumer engagement, digital marketing, and global creative. In addition to his role leading marketing at Drew Estate, Andrew will work closely and collaboratively with JD to support this commercialization of the innovation department's strategic initiatives. Andrew Duncan comes to Drew Estate from the Sazerac Company, one of America's most respected family-owned spirits companies. In his most recent role as global head of brand marketing, Andrew led global growth strategy for the company's bourbon and American whiskey portfolio, i.e. Buffalo Trace. During his tenure at Sazerac, Andrew helped steward some of the most iconic and fast-growing brands in American whiskey through a period of significant growth in premiumization. Prior to Sazerac, Andrew held a variety of senior marketing positions at Procter & Gamble with responsibilities spanning brand strategy, portfolio management, commercial planning, partnerships, and consumer engagement. As anyone internally at Drew Estate can tell you, filling this position has been a very challenging search, said Drew Estate CEO Glenn Wolfson. We set the bar extremely high with exacting requirements, searching for proven leadership and management skills, talents, and values that align with Drew Estate's ethos, hands-on experience, and premiumization. Most importantly, Andrew is a very strong fit, not only with Drew Estate's iconic culture, but with the premium cigar industry's culture at large. He is authentic, passionate, purpose-driven, and already embraces many of the attributes that characterize Fellowship of the Leaf. We are confident we've found the right leader for the job with Andrew and are excited to see what he can achieve here at Drew Estate, as well as what we can contribute to the ongoing health and growth of the premium cigar industry. The last 30 years in the cigar industry has taught me that Drew Estate is a very strange company. After a very extensive search, I can say that finding Andrew was like finding a needle in a haystack. Andrew is a superstar because he's intellectual, numeric, analytical, yet also humble and very human. That's encouraging. He's from the Midwest of the United States with a military background, and I deeply appreciate his personal values and virtues, of which I've learned in our fast friendship. We are going to be solid partners across marketing and innovation, remarks founder Jonathan Drusan. On the personal front, Andrew is a native of Pittsburgh and a true son of the heartland who shares the values on main streets across America. He received his MBA from the Kelley School of Business at Indiana University and his MM from Carnegie Mellon. Andrew currently resides in Cincinnati, Ohio with his family. Oh, that's a lot to read.
That was a lot.
If I realized I was going to have to read that many words that have been made up, I don't know if I'd have read it. Whew. P.H. Miller said Drew Estate should have recruited Bob to be the CEO.
Yeah, that would have been a downturn, but I would have enjoyed it while I was there. Chief probably would have came up there and said, hey, I need you to get me some H99s and I need you to get me some L40s and I would have been, I got you, Bubba.
I'd just request monthly trips down to back and forth to either the Dominican or the Nicaraguan Drew Estate factories.
That's a pretty smart ask.
I'd like to say I'm a pretty smart asker. All right. So we do indeed have a stick pick of the week this week, and who better than to win this week than Mr. Fireborn? I thought that was a cool photo. I thought, you know what? Look at there. He nubbed the cigar down. He got it stand straight up in the ashtray. I believe that's a La Palina. Looks like the La Palina Black Label at that. But I thought, you know what? That's a pretty cool photo. Anybody can take a picture of an ashy cigar, but can anybody take a picture of their ashy cigar sitting straight up in the ashtray?
That's pretty good. In an Undercrown classic vintage ashtray at that.
So congratulations to Fireborn for this week's stick pick of the week. So Bob the Cigar Guy, final thoughts on your cigar experiment that we've been going through for the last hour.
It was interesting. I've never done that before either. And so that just made me a little smarter. So I appreciate that opportunity. That was all right. I have finished both of the cigars pretty much. And now I'm back on the Natura that I had sat down because this Sumatra is amazing. I enjoyed the fool out of this one. So you've gotten a couple of those. Have you smoked them yet?
No.
They're pretty snazzy.
I haven't smoked a lot of anything in the last week. This allergy thing is kicking my butt right now. And so I've been trying not to overwhelm myself with cigars, and of course, jumping right back in here, I am smoking 2 cigars in the same show.
Did you drive your truck?
Yeah, I did.
So you're going to smoke on the way home?
No, probably won't.
Oh,
I'm probably gonna pack all my stuff up and go home and go to bed so that I can give myself a full night's rest, so that I can go to work all day tomorrow and not be dead. But no,
that's a good thing.
this was a lot of fun. I have been one to say that, cigar wrappers are responsible for a huge percentage of the flavor. And I've only done that, based off of what I've been told, and never via testing this for myself. And so it was really interesting to be able to sit down and smoke 2 of the same exact cigars minus a wrapper leaf and see just what the difference was. And now, obviously, not every cigar is going to be that same case. There are some wrapper leaves that aren't going to impart a whole bunch of flavor, and then there are some wrapper leaves that are probably going to impart even more flavor. Another reason why I was okay going with the shade, because I think if we had done something like an Underground 10 that has Mexican San Andreas on it, I think the answer would have been, well, duh, it's Mexican San Andreas. It's full of oil. It's super thick leaf. Of course it's going to be different. So I thought, the other side was, well, if we could have told no difference with the Connecticut shade leaf, they'd be like, well, duh, it's Connecticut shade leaf. It's super light leaf. Of course not going to have much of it. But it did. It had I would say, a profound effect on the cigar flavor itself. So it's confirmed. Cigar wrapper leaves are crucial to the flavor, the overall flavor of your cigar experience. Plus, the draw is better with a wrapper on. So don't smoke your cigars with a wrapper on them unless you have 2 of the same with one. And see you, Cigar Pop. Have a great one. So, what else? Smoked anything new in the last 2 weeks? Or in the last week? I've smoked a lot of things new, actually. Smoked the Triune Fall on Saturday. That was really good. Really enjoy that cigar. I smoked both of the Year of the Pausers on Monday. I like the female pauser better than the male pauser cigar. I will be smoking them again at some point, I'm sure. It'll be interesting to see if that's still the same phenomena. But all the people that I have sat with, or that I have talked to, who have smoked that cigar, or both cigars, also are in agreement. They like the her pauser more than the he pauser. So fun little experiment there. And then I don't think I've smoked anything else new. So yeah, those 3. What about you there, Bob Cigar? Anything new for you here recently?
I smoked a bunch new. We got a whole bunch in just recently from manufacturers. And while I've been grinding away with the shorts and all the other stuff I've been doing, getting things across the spectrum, I've been smoking them, but nothing has really stuck out that was just amazing. So nothing really memorable, to be honest.
I also forgot that I smoked the brand new Avo. Whoa, what a good cigar. Really
doesn't taste like an Avo.
I can't refute the statement because I don't smoke a lot of Avo. The last Avo that I smoked was last year, the Nicaraguan experiment, or whatever they called it. I really like this Avo. That was
I don't disagree with you. I like it a lot, but it doesn't feel like an Avo to me. It's just a little bit more on the aggressive side. The blend is not as harmonious as an Avo usually is. An Avo is usually very, very smooth on like jazz. And this was a little bit more aggressive in flavor. The flavors punched you a little bit more than they do with the regular Avo to me.
I will say this is stacking up to be the hardest top 10 I've ever had in my cigar smoking journey. I think. I've had quite a few bangers this year, and I'm gonna like after PCA, I said, or I don't know if I said it publicly. I've said it in conversation with a few people. After or at PCA, of the cigars that I smoked on the trade show floor, I had noted that it might be hard for anybody to get into the top 3 outside of Dumbarton Tobacco and Trust, because of how much I loved the 3 new cigars that I smoked from Dumbarton Tobacco and Trust. I smoked the New English. I smoked the English Stillwell, then the Brulee Stillwell, and then the Tapa Negra Brulee. And those are all 3 super fantastic cigars, and I can't wait to get my hands on more when they come to market. But since then, I have smoked the El Tigre. I have smoked the Puro Dominicano from Davidoff. I've smoked the new Avo. That was dope. I've smoked the new JJ 20th 2026 edition. That was dope. I smoked the Plasencia Triunfal. That was dope. I'm looking at 8 different cigars right there. I smoked the this one will not make it on the list. It'll be a like an honorable mention. But I really loved the Culebra from Dumbarton Tobacco and Trust. That was a dope cigar. But if I remember correctly, I think that's just the Mi Querida wrapped up in 3 different either Mi Querida or Sin Compromise. I can't remember what he said.
I want to say the Mi Querida in Lancero form.
But that was dope. Really enjoyed that cigar. All right. Anything else from you, Bob Cigar Guy, before we end the air show this evening?
No, not really. We got a lot coming. We got a lot going on. Chief is posting up all the videos. I've got a new software app, whatever you want to call it, where it makes the clips. And so I've been putting lots of clips up on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. And they're usually the best parts of the video. Of course, watching the whole video is the best part. But Chief's doing a great job putting out content, and he's been working like a dog. He's been working 6 days a week for the past 2 weeks, and he's still cranking out content. He's still taking time to edit and put in the B-roll and stuff instead of just mailing it in with just a one and done kind of thing. And I appreciate the fact that he's putting out such great content. It seems like a lot of people are shying away from the long form content where they're just doing the little short clips, the 1 minute videos, the 3 minute videos, stuff like that. And you really don't get the whole thing. You just get the little clip. And our plan is to never go away from the long format, but we are jumping in and doing the short format as well. So you can kind of see and say, you know what, this is something I don't want to spend time with watching. So if you see one of the clips on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, and even on TikTok, take time to check out the whole video. The videos this year, they're not 30, 40, 50 minutes long this year. They're a little bit less, 7, 8, 10 minutes. And they're worth a watch. And they're coming out every day, Monday through Friday. So Chief's doing a great job. Check them out. Leave great comments. We can use the comments because that helps us bump up in the analytics so it gets shown to more people. We are at 200 and we have 279 more subscribers to hit 10,000. We need to keep that going. So tell your friends, tell people at the grocery store, tell people at the gas station, tell people that you don't even like. Do me a favor and don't create new accounts so that you can fake the numbers. We don't ever want to fake the numbers or buy bots or anything like that. But you can tell all your friends to check us out because we'd love to hit that 10K so we can give you stuff away and we can clean out the studio because we got lots of stuff to hand out to you. So have a great week. And if I don't see you before then, I will see you next Thursday. Chief, back to you.
Oh, thanks for hanging out with us again this evening, everybody. It's been a pleasure. 2 days ago, I thought, man, if I'm feeling this way on Thursday, there's no way I can do a show. Luckily, I feel like I'm at a point now where we can get back on the horse and ride. Every day that I'm waking up since Tuesday morning, it is a more approachable allergy day. So hopefully tomorrow when I wake up, I'm closer to normal than I was when I woke up today, and then so on and so forth, and be back on the mend of smoking as many cigars as I can get myself in front of. Thank you all for hanging out with us again this week. I know it takes, tonight we're at an hour and a half of the show. So thanks for taking an hour and a half out of your Thursday to sit and hang out with us. I'm glad, hopefully tonight was the show that you guys felt was worth watching and entertaining, in the sense of, I've never sat down and done that experiment myself. I'm glad Bob and Chief did, because I can say, hey, these two guys did it and this is what they said. And so, yeah, that's true. Wrappers do make up a significant portion of the flavor of a cigar. So maybe next week we do Mythbusters episode 2, or I find something else to do when we do Mythbusters episode 2 at a later time. I am starting to get all of my ducks in rows. PCA content is not winding down. Tomorrow is the last video from day 1 of PCA. Day 1 was our heaviest day of content. So we are approaching the midway point of PCA content. As PCA content winds down, Bob the Cigar Guy will start posting his content as normal. And then that frees up my calendar to be able to talk with people and say, hey, do you want to come on Chief Talk, and put a lot of brain power into that. So do be prepared to start seeing some notifications going about having people on in the future. But until then, smoke something good, be good, and if you can't be good at it. Both links in the descriptions. One takes you to chevetreport.com. The other takes you to our Discord, where you can hang out with us and have a good time. We love you all. Thank you all for hanging out, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Time to relax. Whew. Man, I'm beat. Whew. What are you doing? What are you doing here? Show's over. Go home. Go home. Show's over. What are you waiting for? You waiting for another show? This is a 1-ticket entry. Go. Bye. Go. Go. Go.